Before we get into today's video, go down below in the comments. Give me your one-word reaction to yesterday's walk-off win over the Chicago White Sox. My one word, needed. This was needed not just for the Red Sox, but for Triston Casas. Welcome back into another edition of the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack, and we are talking today about the much-needed, highly needed Red Sox walk-off win over the Chicago White Sox. I'm going to give you everything you need to know, give you all my thoughts and more. Look, when you're playing the White Sox, as we saw 2 weeks ago, or a week ago at this point, you can never take the White Sox for granted, it appears, if you're the Boston Red Sox. And I am always skeptical of whether or not they're going to be able to pull out a game. But with Crochet on the mound, you've got to have at least a little bit of confidence. You know, he took a perfect game into the 6th last week and then a no-hitter into the 8th and absolutely dominated. But we're going to talk about Crochet. We're going to talk about Casas. We're going to talk about Devers. We're going to talk about all of that. But if you love the Red Sox, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for hitting our goal yesterday of 15 new subscribers. Let's keep it going. Let's get to 1,500 subs. We are close. We're less than 50 away. So if you love the Red Sox, hit that subscribe button right now. This is probably going to be a bit of a shorter video. Not a lot of external news to talk about. We're just going to kind of highlight the game and then be on our happy merry way. I'm pretty tired. I was out last night watching night 1 of WrestleMania. So I'm a little tired. And it's also Easter. So happy Easter. But we're going to get it going. Garrett Crochet on the mound yesterday looked good. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. That looks like a very good line, and it is. He's got an ERA of 1.13 right now. He's looking absolutely awesome. However, even Crochet would admit that was probably not his most clean outing. His command was a little bit off. He looked a little shaky at times, did have ducks on the pond at times. He was able to keep the White Sox at bay, but again, even he in his post-game press conference was not overly satisfied with his performance, and I wouldn't be either. When you're not feeling 100% in your delivery and in your approach, I wouldn't feel 100% if you know you're better than that. And look, this is very first world problems to have your starter go out 6 shutout innings with 7 Ks. Like, okay, Jack, let's relax. But Crochet knows that he can be better than that. And I think we all know that he can be better than that. It's still a stellar outing, but it is also against the White Sox as well. So he was highly critical of himself. That's the attitude I want from my ace. And I really like that is how he feels. So in the end, he pitched really well. It was a good game. Did have a few command issues here or there, but he's never satisfied. And that's exactly what you want from your ace who you've locked down for the next, almost decade worth of time. Go down below in the comments for me. Grade Garrett Crochet's outing yesterday. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give it a B-. Not a B-. I'm going to give it a B. I'm just going to give it a straight up B. I think that it was good, but it was also against the White Sox. He did have some command issues here or there. He did look a little bit hesitant. So it's not like an A like last week. Last week's was an A. It was awesome. But yeah, I'm going to give it a straight B. You let me know down below in the comments. Grade Crochet's outing. A, B, C, D, or F. Want to hear your thoughts down below. Let's talk about the rest of the pitching. I'm not great. It was actually pretty good when you think about it. The situation was not great, but it actually was. Greg Weisser comes in, pitches the 7th. 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 runs, and a home run to Luis Robert. Luis Robert needs to stop hitting dagger to the heart home runs against the Red Sox. It's happened twice this year. So on paper, it looks like Weissert had a really bad outing. That's actually not true, though. He had a double play ball to Trevor Story. I believe it was a double play ball, if I remember correctly. I actually didn't watch this part of the game. I was driving to the WrestleMania party, so please forgive me. There was an error. There was an error by Trevor Story that kept the inning going, that left the door open for Luis Robert to come in and hit the game-tying 3-run home run. So does Weissert need to execute after the error? Yes. And I've been highly critical of the pitchers this year. Like, errors happen. They do. How do you respond to the errors? You can either lay down and give up a 2-run tying shot to Luis Robert, or you can execute some more good pitches and get out of a jam. And Weissert didn't do that. Now, but again, to his credit, that inning probably should have been over, and they probably shouldn't have even been in that situation to start with. Yes, I understand that. And those errors are going to kill the Red Sox. Thankfully, the Red Sox were able to clutch up in extra innings and win the ball game. But if they hadn't, that would have been a big story. This left side of the infield so far this year has been shaky at best. Story's been pretty good. Bregman has struggled mightily with his arm, but Story has made some errors this year. He has not been the perfect shortstop that we know him to be. The left side of the infield needs to tighten up, because we thought that the right side of the infield was going to be the issue. But if the left side of the infield's the issue and the right side's already an issue, your entire infield cannot be an issue. We saw that last year, and that did not go well. So the errors they need to tighten up on the errors. It cannot happen. This team cannot lead the league in errors once again. If you want to make the playoffs, if you want to push for a World Series, that cannot happen. So Weissert gives up 3 runs. Just not an ideal scenario, not something you want to see. But it is what it is. Justin Slayton comes in, 1 inning, 2 Ks, looked really good. Chapman comes in, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 K, looked really good. His ERA is 1.08. Chapman's looked really good. I've already eaten crow on my take from the offseason. I thought that was a bad signing. He looks really good. I got nothing to say about that. Garrett Whitlock pitches in the 10th, gets the win. 1 inning, 1 walk, 2 Ks, looks really good as well. Overall, they struck out 12, only sacrificed 7 hits, only walked 4. I mean, it's really solid from your pitching staff today as a whole. I was very, very happy with what we saw. And yeah, they did enough. They did enough. Before we get into the offense, I'm going to ask one more time, if you have not already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I really, really do appreciate it. It means the absolute world. Trying to get to 1,500 subs. We're less than 50 away. If you love the Red Sox and you have not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button for recaps every single day. All right, let's talk about the offense. Struck out 7 times, 7 hits. Okay, don't hate that ratio. They walked 7 times, which was huge. Being able to just get on base is huge. No one shined in terms of offense. Duran went 1 for 4. Devers went 1 for 3. I mean, Devers is one of the heroes of the day with the 3-run shot. You absolutely needed that to get your momentum going. Raffy is Raffy. He is back to what he is. I'm not worried about him anymore. He had that really, really bad start to the season, but now he's batting .229, 729 OPS, and you're saying, Jack, that batting average is horrible. Yeah, he went 0 for like 30 to start the season, so he's still working that up. But to get it up to 229, have an OPS of 729, I mean, we're cooking with gas here, guys. Like, Raffy's back. I'm not worried about him at all. Bregman went over 4 again. He did have a walk, but he struck out twice. Story 1 for 4. Abreu went 0 for 4 with a walk. Campbell went 1 for 3 with 2 walks and a strikeout. So that's good to see. Casas went 1 for 4. He had the walk-off in the 10th. Nobody needed that walk-off more. Triston Casas needed that walk-off. Casas right now is hitting 176 with a 518 OPS. When Devers got out of his slump, all eyes turned on Casas. And we know how, if you watch the Clubhouse documentary, how heady Casas can get. So for Casas to get this walk-off win, this was the momentum, hopefully, that he needed to finally start going. I thought that home run he had a few weeks ago was going to be the catalyst, but he never really figured it out. I'm hoping now that this is the catalyst to get Casas a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum, and now that he is going to be starting to get out of his slump and get into his hitting ways. I also want to note about Jarren Duran real quick, too. I did kind of run past his stat line, 1 for 4. He had a lot of hard hit balls yesterday that just weren't landing. And I do think that is kind of that is the Red Sox in a nutshell this year, is hitting the ball hard but it not landing. I would say the same about Triston Casas. I know that we have more of a microscope on Casas because he's hitting much worse than Duran is, but they are both kind of falling under that same category where they're both making good contact, good solid hard contact, but it's just not falling for them. And I think once Casas starts to string together a few hits and a few of those hard hits start falling, he's going to start to get that confidence and start to hit like a lot of us think that he should be able to hit. And so I hope that ends up working out. Carlos Narvaez went 1 for 3 today with 1 walk and a K, had the hit in the 9th that set them up with a runner at second. And then you bring in David Hamilton, and he has one of the worst base running decisions that I've seen this year. This is another part about these unprovoked errors, the mental errors. You have the Story error, actual error, fielding error, which can't happen, which leads to the Luis Robert homer to tie up the ballgame. And then you've got Carlos Narvaez on second with no outs, and you bring in David Hamilton, and David Hamilton, chopper back to the pitcher, leaves on contact. I get you're trying to get to third, but you've got to look at the situation, and he runs into the first out at third. That can't happen. When you are tied in the bottom of the 9th, and you start off the inning with a runner on second with no outs, you cannot run into the first out at third. That cannot happen. Take the L, have it be a ground out to first, and stay at second. You're still in scoring position. The Red Sox were able to convert in the 9th. And they had opportunities because they got runners on. So you think if Hamilton would have stayed on second and then what happens subsequently after happens, you win that game in 9. But instead, he runs into the first out at third. You've got no runners on with an out, or 1 runner on with an out, because the guy that hit the ball got to first. You're in a much worse position than you would have been with that runner in scoring position. So that just cannot happen. And Hamilton's a really smart base runner, and he steals bases, and he's really good. That was a really, really bad mental error. And in hindsight's always 20/20. If they were to have lost that game yesterday, it would have been those 2 errors that you could point at as the reasons why they did not win that game. But I digress. Rafael went 1 for 3. He's starting to hit the ball a little bit more too. That's really great to see. And that's it. Casas is the hero. Rafi with the 3-run home run, and then Casas with the walk-off in the 10th. Both players that desperately struggled at the beginning of the season came up clutch for the Red Sox today, and yesterday, and that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see these guys start to build up their confidence, start to build up their momentum, and I'm hoping that is just a sign that the Red Sox, as a whole, are now starting to get their groove and start to hit the ball. Again, it's the White Sox, so I'm not going to put a lot of stock into it, but definitely good to see nonetheless. Go down below in the comments. Predict the score of today's Red Sox White Sox game. I'm going to go Tanner Houck's on the mound, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm going to go Red Sox. I'm going to go 6-4 Red Sox. I hope that Houck comes out and pitches like he did a few weeks ago, because that outing against Tampa Bay was nothing short of absolute garbage, disgusting. So I'm going to give the Sox the win here. I still think the sweep's on the table. Do I think the White Sox take one? I'd say there's probably a good shot, but I am hoping that Houck comes out and pitches well. If that happens, and then we go into Marathon Monday, I think a sweep is definitely on the table. But you let me know. Predict the score of today's Red Sox-White Sox game in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, go Sox.